The steam from my coffee curled upward, untouched, as I stood in my kitchen on a gray Tuesday morning. The mug in my hand read, "Best Mom Ever, a gift from my daughter years ago." Today it felt almost mocking. My name is Evelyn Hart. I'm 64, 3 weeks a widow. And already my children believe my life is theirs to rearrange. The phone rang again, loud in the stillness. I answered on the third ring. "Mom, we need to talk about the house," my son Mark said. No greeting, no softness, just business. His voice carried the clipped tone I remembered from his teenage years when he wanted money. Except now, at 35, he wasn't asking. He was telling, "What about the house?" I asked, though my chest tightened with dread. "You can't keep it. It's too much for you alone. Laura and I talked, and we've already found a buyer. A buyer." The words stung worse than the silence of my empty bed without Richard beside me. I pressed the mug onto the counter, afraid my hand would drop it. The funeral flowers hadn't even wilted, and already they were circling. "There's no mortgage," I said flatly. "Richard paid it off years ago." Mark gave a short laugh. "Mom, we know money's tight. Selling is the smart thing. You could even help us with a down payment. It's a win-win. Win-win for them, maybe. For me, it sounded like eviction." I glanced at Richard's rosebush outside. Its roots deep, its blooms fading but not yet gone. Roots can be torn up quickly when profit beckons. I didn't argue. Not yet. His words hardened into something sharper than grief's suspicion. If they'd already lined up a buyer, this wasn't concern. It was takeover. And in that moment, I knew my children had underestimated me. The next night, my daughter Laura finally called. Her voice came coated in sugar, like when she used to ask for the car keys. "Mom, you'd be so much happier living with us. The basement is finished. You'd have your own entrance, your own bathroom. Chloe can't wait to have her grandma close again. The basement. Damp every spring, cluttered with boxes. Last Thanksgiving, they'd sat me down there at a folding table while everyone else ate upstairs. And now she wanted me down there permanently." "And what about my house?" I asked, though I already knew the answer. "Mark hasn't handled. If you sell soon, you'll have plenty left over. We could even use some of it to renovate the basement. Make it really cozy for you. Cozy like a kennel. Richard's study. My garden. Birthdays, holidays, memories reduced to a bargaining chip for their comfort." Laura spoke brightly, as if she had solved everything. "Besides, you'd never be alone. You could help me with meals, keep Chloe company. It'd be perfect for everyone. Perfect for everyone but me." I ended the call before my anger spilled out. For weeks, I thought grief made my hands tremble. But it wasn't grief. It was recognition. They weren't asking me to choose. They were arranging my future as if I were cargo. And if they were planning for me, I needed a plan of my own. That night I wandered into Richard's study, a room I had avoided since the funeral. Dust clung to the blinds, but his presence lingered, the faint scent of aftershave, the polished leather chair, the neat rows of books. I opened the bottom drawer and found a folder I didn't recognize. Inside were statements, notes, and then a deed with a photograph clipped to the corner. A whitewashed villa with blue shutters. A terrace overlooking the sea. Spain. Richard had once joked about retiring somewhere warm. But I had thought it was only a dream. My throat tightened. He had planned a life for us he never lived to see. And he had kept it secret, shielding me from our children. They knew nothing of this place. Richard had left me more than memories. He had left me choices. The next morning I met Marianne Collins, Richard's attorney. She confirmed what the document said. Every property, every investment, the villa in Spain, all in your name. The children have no legal claim. You are the sole owner. The words washed over me like cool water after fever. Sole owner. Mark and Laura had been building castles in the air. Then Marion slid an envelope across the desk. Richard asked me to give you this. My hands trembled as I read his handwriting. My dearest Evelyn, I know our children. They will try to convince you you're not strong enough. Don't believe them. You've carried this family for decades. Now it's time to live for yourself. The villa is yours, a promise of freedom. Do not let them take it from you. Tears blurred the page. Richard had known. He had seen what I could not admit. Folding the letter carefully, I felt something anchor inside me. Strength. Later that day, Laura called again. Mom, we'll renovate the basement. Mark knows a contractor. It'll feel like your own apartment. And we'll cover it with money from the house sale. It's really an investment in your comfort. I cut her off. Laura, when was the last time you called just to ask how I was? A pause. Things have been busy with Chloe's tuition. $28,000 a year, isn't it? Plus room and board, books, sorority fees. Her voice faltered. Yes. Why? Because I've been sending Chloe $500 a month. That's $12,000 since she started college. From my pension, money you never told her came from me. Silence. You let her believe I was fragile while you took my money. That ends today. I ended the call. My hands no longer shook. They were steady with anger. The following morning, I called a moving company. But I didn't pack my own things. Instead, I packed my children's, Mark's football trophies, his old baseball glove, Laura's piano books, her uniforms. Each boxed, each labeled carefully with their names. If they wanted me out, they could carry their memories with them. When Mark arrived that evening in his pressed suit, folder in hand, his patience already stretched thin. He stopped short at the sight of the boxes. Mom, what is this? Why are my things packed? Because memories matter, I answered evenly. I thought you'd want them safe in your own home. He pushed inside, face red. This is ridiculous. Gregory's client is ready to buy. All we need is your signature. I leaned against the door, my red dress catching the sunlight. Tell me, Mark, how much were you planning to split with Laura after selling my house? His jaw tightened. Mom, you're not thinking straight. Grief clouds judgment. No, I said, voice like steel. My judgment is clearer than ever. Richard paid off this house. His pension and investments provide more than enough. I'm not drowning and I'm not weak. You assumed I was because it made it easier to treat me like an obstacle. But this house is mine. You cannot sell what doesn't belong to you. His folder slipped. For once, he had no script. The silence cut sharper than any argument. And I knew then it was time to leave. The flight to Madrid was long but calm. No calls, no demands. Silence, for the first time, felt like freedom. In Malaga, Richard's contact, Senora Alvarez, met me with a warm embrace. The house is ready, she said. When I reached the villa, my breath caught. White walls glowing in the sun, blue shutters opening to balconies, lemon trees bending under their fruit, and beyond, the Mediterranean stretching endlessly. Richard had known what I would need. Days unfolded gently, waves against the rocks in the morning. Warm bread from the bakery, the quiet of streets where neighbors smiled without asking for anything. I began to write in a leather journal. Not just grief, but details of life. The color of the sea, the taste of olives, the sound of cicadas at night. Silence no longer punished me. It cradled me. I ignored most calls from Mark and Laura, their numbers flashing like warnings. But one evening the phone buzzed with a different name, Chloe, my granddaughter. Her voice was broken with sobs. "Grandma, I just found out. Mom told me about the money you've been sending. I thought you couldn't even keep your house. That's why I stopped calling. She said you were fragile. I believed her. I'm so sorry." Her words cut deeper than her mother's betrayal. "Sweetheart," I whispered, "you only trusted your mother. That isn't a crime, but it feels like one. You paid for everything, books, dues, even spring break. And I never thanked you. I want to make it right. I want to see you, please." 3 weeks later, I stood at Malaga Airport. When Chloe appeared, hair in a messy bun, no polished masks, she ran into my arms. The hug was fierce, desperate, real. "You look different," I whispered. "So do you," she said through tears. "You look like yourself again." At the villa, she stared at the bougainvillea and lemon trees. "Grandpa knew. He knew you'd need this place." "Yes," I said, my throat tight. "He did that night." As we ate grilled fish on the terrace, Chloe looked at me seriously. "Grandma, I don't just want to visit. I want to stay. I want to know you, the real you." Later, standing alone beneath the moonlit sky, I lifted my glass of wine toward the horizon. Richard's words echoed in me. It's time to live for yourself. For the first time since widowhood, I wasn't surviving. I was thriving. And I knew now that family wasn't about blood or obligation. It was about truth, about love that endures. And in Spain, with Chloe by my side, I had finally found it.